On this episode of Fitness Junkeez, we meet superhero trainer coach Jenn Aguirre. All right, we're here at Aguirre Fitness.
Yes.
With Jenn Aguirre.
You got it.
She takes us through a few of her favorite exercises.
It's that if Jenn can get through the knee issues, the back pain, the Crohn's, the depression, the bulimia, all the other issues that I've gone through, like my cover picture on my Facebook, it's a whole bunch of pictures of me doing photo shoots, and then in the middle it says this chick has, and it's a list of like uveitis and bursitis, and it's so I want somebody that's got any one of those ailments or any one of those issues to look at me and not say I want to look like her, but I want to look like the best version of myself, and she's like my hope.
She's not my super ex-girlfriend, but she's definitely a superhero. What's up, Fit Fam? This is Giovanni of Gio's Logic, your host of Fitness Junkeez. I hope this show meets you in good health and spirits, and if not, I hope it inspires you to do something about it. Today's guest, I believe, will inspire you to do something about it. She is an alpha chick by all standards. Jenn, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? And thank you for that. That was awesome.
So every guest is hopefully a true fitness junkie, and every fitness junkie has a journey. So go as far back as you want and give us your journey in your fitness journey, health and fitness journey, and all the way up to present.
Okay. So I'll tell you why I wanted to get into this. When I was 16 years old, I grew up in New York, which I actually said that without my accent. I just realized I said New York instead of New York.
We're breaking her down.
But I met a woman and she was jacked. She kind of reminded me of Roxanne from The Police. I don't know if you know who that is. But she was jacked. And I remember I was walking on Long Beach and I went up to her and I said, "Oh my God, like you look amazing." And this is like before women looked like this all the time.
Right.
And I said, "Do you mind me asking you how old you are?" And she's like, "I'm 71. I was like, "I am going to look like you when I'm 71 years old."
Wow.
So I went back to my high school and I asked my friend Jeremy to teach me about working out. And that's literally where it all began. And then kind of fast forward, I wanted to be a personal trainer. I didn't get a lot of support. I started dating a guy that said that he would be embarrassed to admit that his girlfriend was a personal trainer. My dad said he'd be embarrassed to say that his daughter was a personal trainer. So I kind of like did it a little bit and started the process with one of my friends, this girl Jenna that I knew, that I met at the gym. And we started it, but a lot happened. A lot of my life was like major drama. A lot of not support from my family, me not knowing what I want to do with my life, me trying to please everybody. And then at 19, I started getting really sick. And I know it had a lot to do with my family and stress and everything. So for 2 years, the doctors just kept telling me it's stress and stress and stress. And finally, I went to a different doctor, and at 21, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. And then I was on medication and sick all the time up until 23. And all this time, I was like really wanting to become a personal trainer and learn more about, because I knew that I could probably get myself off medication and everything. And at 23, I had a nervous breakdown. A lot happened there. My ex-boyfriend, the one that said that to me, beat me up 2 weeks before we were about to open up the restaurant, because we were going to open up a restaurant together, which I know I kind of fast forwarded through that. Okay. But again, I was doing things in my life that I was just trying to please everybody. Like my dad was proud that I was going to open up a restaurant. My ex-boyfriend was happy that we were going to do this together, but it wasn't anything that I was passionate about. I was really passionate about health and fitness. And I was kind of doing those things on the side with my friend, but I hadn't finished my certification. So after he threw me down a flight of stairs, picked me up, threw me up against the wall, all that other stuff. It was a major coincidence that my dad just happened to be coming over the house right at the end of the beating. And he sent me to my mom's house. And then he said, "I'll call you in a little bit." And he called me like 2 hours later. And he said, "At least it was only the first time he hit you." And my father, which my old school Italian, I thought would be like, I'm going to kill him. He's going to be in a freezer, whatever. Right. But my dad hit me a lot when I was a kid. So I got beatings from my dad until the last time when I was like 15 years old when I hit him back. And then he never hit me again. But then I also moved out. So I wasn't really surprised. So I had a feeling he was going to be not okay with it because he also loved my ex. And he loved him because he was Italian. He loved him because we were going to get into the restaurant business, and my dad loved that. He thought it was prestigious, way more prestigious than being a personal trainer. Right. So then I didn't talk to my dad for a year, and I moved in with my mom, and then things just got progressively worse. Bulimia, depression, all that other stuff, and I checked myself into a psych ward. I was there for 7 days, and I got out, and I said, I'm going to finish my certification. And my mom and my sister were super supportive. Not a lot of people in my family knew, so I finished my certification because I had already started the classes because there was a place in New York where you could take a class 3 days a week for a certain amount of months. I'm not somebody that does well with online courses. I need to be present. Yeah. So I took this, I finished the course. They let me come back. I finished it. I passed. I got my certification. 2 weeks after I got out of the hospital, I started working the front desk at New York Sports Club. And then, what was that, November? And then by April, I was actually on the floor training clients. And by the end of that first year, I was ranked number 20 in the nation for trainers. Wow. And then every year it's number 20, then number 11, then number 7. And then I left the company at number 6 and I moved to California because I wanted to get out of New York.
What did your body look like back then?
So when you have Crohn's disease, you're very I was eating 13 times a day, all little small meals. So I also got myself in remission. I stopped all the medication. As soon as I got out of the hospital for the depression, I said I never took any of the depression meds that they wanted me to when I was in the hospital. But I also stopped all the Crohn's medication that I was on. And I just started eating small meals throughout the day. I did a lot of reading on blood type dieting, metabolic dieting, triggers for food allergies. I took a blood test, not to find out if I'm allergic to shellfish, but what food allergies I had for the Crohn's. And I found out lemon and pepper and vinegar were really horrible for me. Then I basically just got myself into remission and started eating small meals throughout the day. And I was 118 pounds. When I was dating my ex and before the depression, I was up to about 170, and I'm 170 right now, but I had much higher body fat then because I was bulimic. And when you're bulimic, you're not skinny. You can't possibly throw up everything that you're eating. Oh, okay. So I was heavy set, and then I got really sick and just everything was going right through me, but I was eating very healthy. I was eating salmon every day, oatmeal 10 times a day. My last couple meals didn't have oatmeal in it, just chicken and eggs and salmon, and that's it. And everything was super plain. And that's how I've been eating for 20 plus years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you had a rough childhood, and did you find that becoming muscular kind of gave you an armor, even if it's subconsciously?
Yes. Part of the reason why I decided I wanted to look like this is because I was always, I'm the type of person that you tell me I can't do something and I want to do it 10 times more. So even when it came to personal training, they said women back then were never going to be successful personal trainers. So I had to be 10 times smarter than the average man at the gym, not even certified trainer, because you might have a member that'll go up to some random guy that works out before they're going to come up to me. Right. So, and then when it came to working out, I was always inspired to be the strongest person in the gym, not female, strongest person. And I wanted to always put on weight, but then with my Crohn's, that was really hard. And then when I moved out of California, out of New York and to California, just being away from not my sister and my mom and my cousin and aunt, but just the family drama and my dad, I was eating the exact same amount of food, but I put on more weight. So my body was absorbing it more and much better. And then I started getting stronger, and then I started wanting more. And I also have quite a history of sexual abuse in 3 different occasions. So my dad was very inappropriate with me, and then I was attacked on 2 other occasions. Never fully raped, but right before, and then people stopped it. So I don't know if it's like I've always wanted to be intimidating. I've always wanted to have this persona where, don't try to come at me because I can take care of myself. So, I mean, that's part of the reason why. And then that 71-year-old woman that I wanted to look like.
Right. The funny thing is that when I saw you on Instagram, I was immediately like, I got to get her on the show, because your gregarious personality and the muscle it's not always the same. You don't think that person's going to be the same person. Yeah. But when I started thinking about you and I met you and felt your energy, and you're just, there's no, like, you're not faking this. This is who you are. And I don't know if you remember this movie called My Super Ex-Girlfriend.
Yes, I do.
There was a scene in it, and I have to play it for you. Travis, can you play that for us?
Ooh. I must be a little nervous.
It's okay. I got a closet full of them. Let me handle this one up.
Let's take care of these.
Okay. Thanks. Who'd have thought we'd ended up like this after that day on the subway? Ain't life grand?
Are you ready? Okay. Here we go.
I got it. Whoa! 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 Damn! Okay, now I need a break.
Oh. I'm sorry. I'll get you a new one.
A better penis.
Yes. That movie came to mind because you look like a superhero.
Thank you. That's my mission. That's my goal.
Right. And it's like, I love muscle on women, and but it can be intimidating.
Yeah.
And not just muscle, leanness and muscle, and just the sculpting that you've done
And the
with your body.
tattoos also.
Yeah. And then, there's one more thing. Your voice, and you're an alpha chick. It's like, there's no like, hi, hi. It's like, so that's why I went to that movie, and it just made me think of what it could be like, or what some men might perceive before they meet you.
I get it.
Which brings me to the point of, not that we give a fuck about people and what they think, because I have the same thing. People see me without hearing my voice. They're like, oh, that's probably, I don't want to fuck with that dude. But then they meet me and they go, oh, wow, he's talks like a white guy, and he's seems like he's soft, and is he gay? And so there's a lot of misconceptions. Yeah. What do you get a lot from men that perceive you before they meet you, and same thing with women? How do people perceive you?
I do get judged a lot. I get a lot of looks, but I live my life by the book, The Four Agreements. And that was one of the first books that I read when I got out of the hospital. So I try not to make assumptions. So if somebody's staring at me, I'm not one, like my old school Italian would be like, what the fuck are you looking at? But meanwhile, I try not to act that way because number one, I know that if they are judging me, that's their stuff. That's not mine.
Right.
And at the end of the day, if they do come up to me and they talk to me, or if we're at the supermarket or whatever, and they're looking at me funny, but then I'm like, oh, hey, do you want to go in front of me? Then they're like, oh shit, like she's not a total jerk. Right. And I try to like keep everything like, I know I have like resting, what do they call it? Resting bitch face when I'm like in a zone. Oh. But like as soon as I talk, it's like I try to make it a point to like be extra because I feel like I am so judged for my muscles and my tattoos and everything. Right. And I try to keep life light as possible. Like that's why I always say you got to keep it entertaining. Like my stories on my Instagram, I'm always laughing and having fun and all that other stuff. But I mean, the way the people that don't know me look at me, they are. I mean, I'll even do phone interviews for people because I own my own business. Me and my ex-husband own our own private personal training studio and then online. So I'm the one that does all the phone interviews for both of us. So like they'll see pictures of me and, you know, they'll say, you know, I don't want to look like you. And, you know, and I'm like, I respect that. That's totally fine. And I'm okay with that. And the way that guys are towards me, most of the time, I was the one that pursued my ex. I was the one that pursued the guy before me. So I'm the one that always like says it first.
You're the alpha chick.
Yeah. So, and I don't really know how. I mean, I say this in the most humble way possible, but I don't know if that's ever like turned a guy away from me in reference to me being that way towards them. In the gym, I get people all the time that will say, like, I work out over at Fit Club, and I'll get some of the guys that are like, oh, I want to work out with you. You look awesome to work out with. Right. So, you know, I think I get good feedback. It's people that are unhappy with themselves that are the negative towards me. Right. So, like, the unhappy women that aren't looking for help from me, and the unhappy men or intimidated men or insecure men that wouldn't jive well with me. Right. But I haven't really like interacted with men like that, and the women that are like that, I don't take it personal. I can't. Right.
Like, explain to the audience, specifically women, how hard it is to keep this level of leanness and how quickly you could actually become much softer.
Yeah. So I don't eat bad food, like in 20 years. So I know that that's extreme, but for me, Tony Robbins talks in the book Awaken the Giant Within, which is better via Audible as opposed to reading. He talks about linking pain and linking pleasure. So for me, it's like when somebody's like, you really haven't eaten anything bad in like 20 years? And I'm like, or 21 years or whatnot. Because when I see bad food, like, I'm an Italian. I haven't eaten raviolis in 21 years. I haven't eaten pizza in 21 years. So, like, bad food. So, like, when I see that food, I see an IV in my arm. I see me having to take a trip to the hospital. So, I try to teach people about how to link pain and pleasure. So, but I also, I do refeeds. I get a burger. Those things don't aggravate me. I get multiple burgers if I want them. But it does take a lot of discipline. So it's every Sunday I prep my food for the week. It's every single week. And people have asked me, are you literally going to do that for the rest of your life? And I'm like, yeah, if it's going to reduce my stress throughout the week and I don't have to worry about like taking a trip to the hospital or anything like that, then it's not work to me. I put my headphones on or I put music on and I dance and cook. It's all about the way that you think of it. Right. But if I let myself go, probably because of how lean I am, it's not like if I let myself go for 2 days that I would look a hot mess. No. It would probably be like if I really just stopped working out and ate garbage, it would probably be a couple weeks. And then we all have our problem areas. So the first place that it would go on me would be on my legs. I would develop cellulite, which women are like, oh, you have no cellulite. I'm like, but I did. Right. And then on my love handles and all that other stuff. Yep. So it's... And then my fear is, because I come from the depression and the eating disorder, I don't live in fear like I'm scared that that I'm going to get back to that the way that I was 20 years ago. But I'm motivated to keep going in the right direction and to work out even when I'm not feeling well, if I have bronchitis or if I'm sick, because I don't want to ever feel like there's a chance that I can go back to the way that I was 20 years ago. Like, I know how hard it was to be negative all the time and to be overweight in, the sense of higher body fat than I have now.
Right.
And I don't want to have to start over again. Even when I gave birth, I have 2 kids. One of them is biologically mine. I gave birth to him, and the second one we adopted. So even when I gave birth to my first son, I was in the gym twice a day. Like, me and my ex, we rotated. I would go, then he would go, then I would go, then he would go. And I dropped 51 pounds. Of course, some of that is baby in 2.5 months.
Right.
And I went back to working. So I'm motivated to never go back to the way that I was that many years ago. Feeling down, and I know how hard, it's adding on that weight is so much more than just adding on weight. It's a head thing too.
Yeah.
So I would feel like garbage. I wouldn't be as entertaining, wouldn't be as creative. I wouldn't be the kind of trainer that I am, the kind of coach that I am, because that's what happens. It's more than just the physical.
Yeah. And obviously this level is probably, the top 5 percentile for women, getting this much muscle and this lean. You've done some competitions in the past, but you've kind of hung up your competition bikini. And tell us about that.
So originally, I did my first competition 8 months after I gave birth to Kakoa, and that's my first son's name. And it's because I went back to work and I had just given birth to a baby, and people were like, "Oh my God, you got abs already. You're in better shape than before you got pregnant." And they said, "You should totally do a show." So because I was a fitness manager at Pleasant Hill Bally's, I did the show 8 months after I gave birth to him, just to inspire women that you can have a baby and then look like that. Right. But I never wanted to train people for shows. I never have, and I never will. I don't care what I look like right now. I will never coach somebody for a show.
Why is that?
Because I don't. My specialty is helping people with medical issues, helping people with emotional and mental issues, and I don't want to coach somebody for the stage. I also know how to take direction from a coach, but I don't know how to give that direction. So I have no ego admitting that I don't know how to put somebody on stage. I know what has been done to me to put me on stage by the 3 different people that I coached under when I competed. But that doesn't mean that I know anything about how to do it for other bodies. Okay. But I do know what to do to other bodies to help them with depression and eating disorder and losing over 100 pounds. And I've trained 13-year-olds and 80-year-olds. So then fast forward, 2 years after that, we opened up our own studio. So then I said, you know what? I'm going to do another show so that I can inspire a new market. Because now it's like, I'm not a fitness manager at Bally's. I'm a business owner in Hercules, California. And we're doing a lot of YouTube videos and all that other stuff. So I'm going to do a show so I can inspire them.
Wait a second.
Hercules, California. Hercules.
Did you move to Hercules, California?
I did move to Hercules, California. You know how many times people have made a comment about that? You live in Hercules, California. Yes.
I love it.
So I did a show then, and then fast forward, I didn't want to do anymore. Like I said, I just wanted to do that one. And then we adopted my second son, Amir, and that's when I had an epiphany, and I said, I want to do something different for me. And I was 130 pounds for years, for 7 years. And then I said, I want to put on weight. And that's when I decided to hire somebody. And I said, I don't want to do a show. And 3 months into coaching with him, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll do another show. So then I got the itch, and I competed a few times. And then the last time I competed was 3 years ago. And my tattoos never helped me because it makes me look very not symmetrical, because I have tattoos on this side, tattoos on this leg. So I can never look cutesy for a figure girl. So then my last show that I did figure and physique, I missed it by second, because they gave pro cards to first and second place. No, first place only in Masters, because I competed in Masters.
Got it.
So I missed it, but my thing was I was an ambassador for Blackstone Labs. I have multiple sponsors, but I was an ambassador for Blackstone Labs, and I had said I'm going to do this last show, and then I had a new program that I was launching that I had been working on for about 9 months. It was a 30-day transformation challenge, and I wanted to do it different than all the other influencers out there that do it. I talk about the emotional thing, so every Friday they have to send me a list of questions, and one of them is, what did you struggle with? So I sit in front of the computer during the 4 weeks of my challenge for 6 hours, and I answer about 50 of my own clients' emails, and then I do 30 to 40 people per challenge. So I just voice note to 90 to 100 people.
Wow.
So I said I'm going to launch this product, and I'm literally going to get my pro card, and then I'm going to launch it. But I didn't get my pro card. So I said I'm not going to not launch my product. That's more important to me. My family, my product, the people that I'm going to inspire.
Right.
And that's it. I said I don't want to do all that cardio. I don't want to diet that much. I like having a little bit of fluff. And I know it's funny to hear me say fluff because somebody's like, where the F do you see fluff? But I like not being as tight as physique is.
Right.
And I don't really fit in any category. And like I say, I do want to look like a superhero, and I also feel like my superpower is mental strength. So I just want to have that persona. I want to help change people's lives, and I'll put on a bikini and pose, but I don't need to do it on stage and have somebody judge what my body looks like.
Right.
And then I don't want to fit into anybody's category. I'm like a combination of wellness from here down, and then physique from here up.
That's perfect. That's nailing it.
So I can't fit in a category, so I'll just stay in my own lane.
Can you judge me for wellness down here?
Yes. I'm going to do some of these poses and then some of these.
That's great. So, what is a Jersey girl? You're from Jersey, right?
No, New York.
New York. What's a New York girl moving to California for? I mean, you're so New York. Cali is so me and laid back. What?
Okay.
And you love it on this side of the world.
I do. I've always wanted to move to a hot area. And me and my best friend Myrna, we were both trainers at New York Sports Club, and we connected very well. She had gone through some tough times also, so we just became really close. We would hang out all the time, and her husband got transferred. He was in the wine industry. Her husband got transferred to California, and she was out in California for 2 months. And she said, I would love for you to come visit. She was a Group X manager at Bally's. So I came out to visit her on April 23rd of 2015. I'll never forget it. She very slickly introduced me to the fitness manager, because I also wanted to be a fitness manager at New York Sports Club, but they didn't allow you to train clients and motivate and train trainers, which I wanted to do both.
Right.
But at Bally's they did. So she got me I want to introduce you to everybody at my job. Right. So Kenny was his name. He literally said to me, listen, I know what you want. Myrna told me. And he's like, and I also know, I actually had 3 jobs. So when I came to visit her, I was working for the certification that certified me. I was doing admin work in the middle of the day. I was training trainers on the weekends. And then twice a year, I was giving trainers CECs. So they had these big conventions. And then I was training clients in the morning and at night. For the first 2 years after I got out of the hospital, I trained clients 7 days a week, just because I needed the distraction from my own headspace. And then I decided to give myself a day off, but I would spend time in like the bookstores and working on myself always. So my girlfriend, she introduced me, and he said, I'll mentor you to become a fitness manager, and you can walk in the door. I'll give you 7 clients, because I have 2 trainers that are going to college and all that other stuff. Then she introduced me to Christian, who is my ex-husband, and she said he has a room that's going to be open for rent in August, because somebody's getting married, that he owned a house and he was renting out rooms. So Myrna, as I'm sitting there in the interview, Myrna's like, you can move in with me from June. Sorry, because he needs you here on June 15th.
Right.
You can move in with me, and then you could stay with me for 2 months, and then you can rent a room in Christian's house. I went back to Myrna's house, and I bought my one-way ticket to move out here. I went back to New York on the 25th of April. I gave my job and all my clients a month's notice, because I wanted to make sure that they were with the right trainer. Told my family, and my mom's boyfriend at the time worked for a moving company, so he helped me ship my car out here. And boom, I moved in with Myrna for 2 months, then moved in with Christian, and then that's a whole nother story.
Right.
I moved into his room, and then...
So I lived in Manhattan for a couple of years, and there's definitely something different with people that are from New York. They have this kind of go get it energy, no bullshit. I mean, that's kind of cliche, but like you exhibit that kind of, if I could make it anywhere, if I can make it here, I can make it anywhere.
Yeah.
And you're coming with that New York energy to LA and now Vegas. Do you feel like it gives you an advantage?
Well, I wasn't in LA. I was in Northern California, so near San Francisco.
Okay.
And I lived in Long Island, not Manhattan. But my motivation was, like, I know that people in New York are like go-getters, but my motivation was what I didn't want. So meaning, I survived my childhood. My father did, trying to decide if I want to, my father was a bookie. So for years. And then he got in trouble, and then he mooched off my mom for years, and then they got a divorce. And my mom struggled, and there was a lot of relationship issues, and the times that my dad beat me up. And so like, I literally said that I don't ever want to need anybody. And I don't ever want to be a woman that's in a relationship with a man that I can't get out of. So everything that I do is for my independence, to keep me at peace of mind. So the reason why I had so many jobs is because I always wanted to make sure that I had money, so I never had to borrow money from anybody. So it's not like I learned all these lessons growing up because I was surrounded by go-getters, or like my family was like well off or anything like that. Right. It was that I love my mother to death. I never want to feel like my mom felt for years, because she stayed with my dad for way more years than she should have. Even me, I came here, I was sitting in the parking lot for 15 minutes. I was here 30 minutes early. Why? Because my mom was always late. So I never want to I would feel nauseous whenever we were late to something.
Right.
So like, again, everything that drives me is the exact opposite of what I had as a kid, because I just need to be able to always take care of myself. I want to be able to take care of my kids. And, now I'm recently divorced, and we still own this business together, and I need to be able to take care of my house that I'm about to buy and my kids, and they're both in private school. And thankfully, I'm in a job that I absolutely love, so I can, put out that positive energy so that, I'm still doing what I love and taking care of myself.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we actually went over to her gym, and she showed us a couple of things that she does for her. I think we started with legs. That's right. All right. We're here at Aguirre Fitness.
Yes.
With Jenn Aguirre.
You got it.
And she's going to show us her favorite lower body exercise if she had to choose one.
Okay. So I chose a glute exercise. I do 3 leg days. One's quad focus, one's glute focus, and one's hamstring focus. So I am going to show you my favorite barbell bridge. I don't even know how many years I've been doing it. Longer than before it's been popular. Okay. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna teach you about what I do, what I teach my clients to do, and then how to activate the muscles. I actually love doing it barefoot because I feel a lot more grounded and connected. When I'm doing the move, I'm gonna give you cues. So I like to give people things that they can remember. So like what I do is I'll tell them to squeeze their glutes like they're picking up a marble with their butt cheeks, but then also keep their abs nice and tight like they're bracing themselves for a punch, because these two muscles together are going to take the pressure off the back. And a lot of people complain about lower back pain when they do a bridge. So start with something lighter, preferably something that has bumper plates, like they have like the 10-pound bumper plates that are the same size as this, which I actually have here, but we're not going to show you. So what I do is I make sure that right by my sports bra, that is where my back is. Normally I would put a pad here, but I don't really care, okay? Then I roll the barbell back. I'm in the perfect position, so I'm not too close to the bench, not too far away. When I pull my knees in, I am gonna make sure that I'm at a nice 90-degree angle. If your knees are too far in, you're gonna actually feel knee pain. And if your feet are too far out, then you're gonna just feel it more in your hamstrings. And I want you to isolate and really feel it just in the glutes. So I'm gonna pull my feet in. This is right about where they would be. Okay, right about hip width apart. I'm just gonna guide the barbell. I'm not gonna lift it. And I'm gonna squeeze and lift up. Abs are tight, glutes are tight. You don't need a huge range of motion. It should not touch the ground. Boom. So down, squeeze. Down, squeeze. I also will sometimes lift my toes. So I'm really driving through the heels. So I am really squeezing my glutes and getting perfect glute activation. You even want to hold it for a second at the top. What I personally like to do is, and what got me to be able to lift heavy and got my glutes to really grow, is each week building on it. So putting more weight on or doing more reps. I do believe in volume. I have gone for max weight, but I believe in volume with heavy weight. And each time just trying to do a little bit more.
And people, they do work. And if we can just, they do work. So get them in. Yes,
they
do work. You talked about your wellness bottom part. I was telling you there, I was like, all I do is look at fitness girls to find different girls to bring on the show that are local, and your butt definitely stands out, and it is definitely not the traditional physique type. It's definitely on the wellness side.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that roundness.
Yeah.
The hips,
Yeah.
the little bump, the shelf at the top, the tuck under, the scoop. I don't know. I make up my own little stuff.
So I saw what you're doing over at Fit Club with those nodes attached to you. What is that?
So, so when I decided that I wanted to get bigger 6 years ago, it was because I'm very upper body dominant. So I've always had bigger shoulders, a bigger back, but I've never had the lower body to match. So I've, for a very long time, been trying to bulk my lower body. So when I moved out here, I did a lot of research or I've been actually seeing it for many years. The newbie with new fit newbie. So I reached out, I saw Andy, and I saw another girl that was doing it over at Fit Club, and then I reached out to both of them, and Andy responded to me like within a couple minutes. So basically what the machine is used for is it's used for rehabilitation. And it just basically makes the muscle fibers fire more efficiently. So an example that he was giving, because we did a YouTube video on it, like your muscles fire at like 40%, but when you have the nodes on, you're at 80 or 90%. So it is used for hypertrophy also, as opposed to just rehab. Then I also have a lot of knee issues. I was told by three doctors that I needed knee surgery for problems with my patella, and we're talking about like 17, 18 years ago. And then I still refused to accept that. So I found a fourth doctor that said we could do it with rehab. So all these years with training really heavy, so like even before I was bulking, I would train very heavy. I'd do like 10, 11 plates on each side on the leg press at 132 pounds.
Wow.
But my knees would bother me. So I have bursitis in my hip. I took a whole semester of dance when I was in college. I had a ballet teacher that popped my hip out of place, and it's never been the same. So another thing that I noticed from working with Andy is that my knees don't bother me. And I'm not talking about just during the workout. I'm talking about outside. Like, I'm sore after the workout, but I don't feel pain when I'm like demoing exercises or walking down the stairs. Like, I haven't had knee pain since I started working with him, and I think I've been with him since March. And then I'm like really like changing my food every now and then. And PJ from Blackstone Labs, so I'm a full sponsored athlete with them now, which I got my sponsorship right after I decided I wasn't going to compete anymore.
Right, which is crazy.
So PJ calls me. Well, PJ called me up to tell me, I want to fully sponsor you. Like, I saw that you don't want to compete anymore because you want to launch your product, and it was about family and money and all that other stuff. So I want to fully sponsor you. I'm going to pay for everything. So I thanked him socially, and I mean on public media, social media, and then I called him afterwards and I said, I appreciate that, but I still don't want to compete. So I said, I'm going to be your easiest. You have a very small bill with me.
Right.
So I forgot where I was going with this. What Where was I going with this?
We're talking about leg workouts and getting bigger and the nodes and the...
Yeah, but then I forgot why I started talking about PJ.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's okay.
But whatever. So I hired Andy and, so PJ kind of does my nutrition. So like I write out my plan and then I send it to him and then he makes little changes to it. I know where I was going with it. So since working with Andy, I think when I first got out here, I was 157 or something, and I'm up to 170. So working with Andy, making little changes to my nutrition, and training the way that I'm training. I went from 2 leg days to 3 leg days, and I put on like 13 pounds, which is the most because I went from 132 to 157 over like 5 years.
Right.
So, I mean, to put on this much in this short amount of time, like that's why I told Andy like, you got me on the Infinity program, right? I'm just going to keep paying you every single month because I'm never going to stop. Plus I like getting beat up. I'm like, the more torture, the better. I love it.
Okay. So I haven't looked at all your leg work days, but do you do any free squats?
We did. So like the way that he does it is we have a staple. So we do leg extensions, we do hack squat, we do leg press, and then we end with leg extensions again. He just bought a piece of equipment called the True Squat, which is brutal. And we did it for the first time, so we're going to add that in. But I have done barbell squats. I actually did powerlifting for a little while. The heaviest, I squat 300 pounds 8 days after I got out of the hospital, which I blew out my back. Not in the gym, so I have a herniated disc, S1 nerve compression from L5 disc herniation. That was about 1.5 years ago. And then I started doing rehab, working with a chiropractor, and then I was with a rehab guy in a powerlifting place, and I did free bar barbell squat. A lot of the times I would use a safety bar because I did have shoulder issues, so the safety bar is the one where you hold it in front. But I don't feel like personally, I'm all about mind-muscle connection, so when I work out, sometimes I close my eyes. If it's not anything I have to balance on, I'll close my eyes. Doing Romanian deadlift, I close my eyes and I envision my hamstrings. So when I'm doing free bar squats, I don't really feel it as much in my quads as I do on a hack squat. So that's the reason why we've just kind of stuck to the hack squat as the main quad builder, which I truly believe that's the hack squat. And then I'm not going to do it on a different day because I'm on my glute day, I do the barbell bridges, and then I do a lot of accessory work. I do this exercise called Raise the Roof, which I'm just totally showing my age right now. But I do it on the Smith machine, and that's a glute exercise. It's almost like you're doing the bridge, but you're face up. And then just like my kickbacks and all that stuff. And then on my hamstring days, I do good mornings, Romanian deadlifts, seated hamstring curls, single leg hamstring curls, prone hamstring curls. And that's it. So it's like totally separate exercises. But the main reason I don't free bar squat is just because I just don't feel it as much in the quads. And it's not like I'm afraid to because of my back, because I squat really heavy right after my back issue.
Right. So talk a little bit more about your glutes and what you've created, because like I said, it's a fantastic body part for you, and a lot of women want to change their butt.
Yeah.
Did your butt change a lot?
Yes.
Okay.
So I was like, I did a video and I did a side-by-side. I only put it in my story, but I'm walking on the treadmill at 130 pounds and I'm doing a video for YouTube and I'm wearing white shorts, which white makes you look bigger. Right. And it's like flat, right? And then I videotape myself at Fit Club and I'm walking and I'm wearing black shorts, which typically makes everything look smaller.
Right.
And it's like round. So the inches, I don't know exactly because I didn't measure what my glutes were, but I can only assume they were probably around 33 or so. And then the biggest I have gotten up to is 41.25 inches on my glutes. But they have dramatically changed. And the most growth I've got is when I started incorporating the barbell bridges. So like, I did back in the day, like kickback exercises and some of the typical things that people do, like the band work and all that other stuff. But I keep it real with people. People come to me specifically for that. One of the 2 girls that I train one-on-one, we do glutes on one day and hamstrings on another, and she does upper body and stuff on her own.
Got
and
it.
she came to me mainly for the butt stuff.
Right.
For the butt stuff. But I like barbell bridges will always be in there, and
Right.
it's about going as heavy as you possibly can. So like I train people on the computer too. I have 3 clients that are trainers. They're in gyms in California and in other areas, and then I have a bunch of people that are at their houses. And for the girls that want to get their butt bigger, I tell them, if you don't want to do it at a gym, buy a barbell, because you're not going to get a bigger butt with just dumbbells and bands.
Right.
So like I keep it real with people. So I truly believe trying to beat your own weight, going from doing the exercise in the beginning of the workout, then trying to do it at the end when you're already fatigued, but then still hitting the same number. Then keeping volume. Like, yes, I've done videos of me doing max weight on the bridges, but you're not going to grow size. I was barbell bridging like a power lifter. I was doing like 3
Right.
reps at like 600 and change pounds. That's not going to make my glutes grow,
Right.
but it will make them, so then I could hit some like 15 reps with like 500 pounds.
Right.
So
That
that's
will make them
why
grow.
I'll occasionally add that kind of stuff in.
Right. Right.
But I always tell the girls not to be, if you want to grow your butt, you got to lift some heavy weight.
I think that might be your new product, like
A booty.
a booty product. I mean, because like I said, and I'm a boob guy, and your butt is one of those star butts that we need to promote.
Take it.
This is how we do it, people. Anyway, I digress. Let's get into what we did for your arms over at your studio.
All right.
All right, Jen, we're over here at the cable machine. You're about to get into some shoulders?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So people ask me about my shoulders all the time. I truly believe in overtraining the rear delts. So think in life, when we drive, when we're on the computer, we're very protracted. So I believe in pulling back. So doing back and rear delts more than you would do chest. I mean, I don't think girls should really do chest anyway, but so what I do is I do a lot of rear delts. I don't have reverse pec deck, so I'm going to show you how I do it on my cable when I train here, and we're going to actually do it as a superset, and we're going to do some lateral raises, and I'm going to give you some cues for those too. What I'm just going to do is I'm just going to straddle my chair, and I'm going to grab the cable. I personally feel it more with my palms face down. So I'm going to grab the opposite cable. This is kind of light. I'm going to sit down, straddle here, and I'm going to start with the just about to touch, and then I'm gonna pull out. This is as far as you need to go. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people that go all the way back here or all the way down here. So I would hold on to the pec, the handle, palms down, and then I pull back to here. So all you need to do is go far enough where you can, and I'll let go of this one, where you can feel it right here. So this is exactly, as you're pulling, this is exactly where you're supposed to be feeling it, okay? So you stop as soon as you get that good squeeze, okay? So what I would do is I would probably do 15 to 12. Sometimes I'll go up on that. Sometimes I'll go up on the lateral. Sometimes I'll go up on both. So I like to change it up. Now, before I actually demonstrate this, cues for lateral raises. Most people do this. So then it's kind of like you're doing rear delts again. I tell people to think you're holding dumbbells. You don't even need to grip it, because then you're doing a lot of forearms. So you're just gonna hold it with your forefingers, and you're gonna think that you're a puppet, and you're just gonna lift by the elbows, but the weight is obviously in your hands, okay? So I'm just gonna lift to the side. That's as high. You don't really even need to go any higher than that. And I'm barely holding on to, my thumbs are out, okay? And I'm just lifting fully. All I feel it is in my medial delt. I do not feel it, medial delt. I do not feel it in my forearms or anything, just all shoulders.
And then so you did a superset. So
Yes.
you drop the cables and you go right into this?
Yeah.
And go till you burn?
And I'll probably do like sets of 15. Okay. Whatever exercise I decide I'm gonna go up on, sometimes I'll drop down to 12 reps. I'll find a weight, like maybe this is the one week, I'll go up in weight on this one and then keep these 15. And then the next week, I'll find something uncomfortably comfortable, and then I'll go up in weight over here. And that'll drop down to 12 reps.
Got it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Again, they're working.
Just a little.
Awesome. Yeah. Your shoulders are crazy.
Thanks. Yeah.
So let's go back a little bit and talk about nutrition, because I know it plays a huge role in your life for health reasons as well. But let's talk about the mental part of good whole foods and well-being and positive, attributes to eating clean.
I believe, okay, so this is a touchy subject because I do have clients that deal with depression, and I do have clients that are on depression meds, but I truly believe that I believe that food is medicine, 100%. And I believe that you could potentially, and I always am, whenever I do a phone interview, I'm always very hesitant as to how I word it, but like I do let people know that there's a very good chance that I can hopefully potentially get them off all medication for diabetes, for high cholesterol. I have a client that's been with me for 6 years, and within 2 weeks of her being with me, she was off diabetes and high blood pressure medication.
Wow.
Multiple people. I had 2 guys and 1 girl that within 3 weeks they were off thyroid medication. I had a hypothyroid for a while. Never took medication for it. So, it's hard in the beginning because as a society, we're taught food is glorified, right? Okay, and I always say this. You watch like a Taco Bell commercial and it's all like fit people laughing and eating Taco Bell. But if it was a real Taco Bell commercial, they would be very overweight and they'd be sitting on the toilet. Okay? But they glorify it and they make it look like, sexy. Oh my God, it's amazing. And yes, sexy. So then everybody wants to go and like, I mean, there's not that many commercials anymore because everybody's watching like Netflix and stuff like that. But still, you see a lot of these things a lot. And I just think that and this is what I try to teach clients, if they can get past like, I guess I don't believe in cleanses, so I don't ever have a client that'll do like a lemon cleanse or a juice cleanse for a couple weeks. I believe I will cleanse your body of bad things if you just stay on track, and then we can incorporate refeeds, but they could work to your advantage. I can give you a burger and you could lose weight, and then your body will just get rid of it. But if they can cleanse themselves of all the horrible food, like they don't even realize how crappy they feel until they feel great from cleansing. And then they go and have the crappy food, and then they have a stomach ache and they can't think straight and they feel down and all they want to do is become one with the couch. So I think that if I can when I get a client past those first couple weeks and they start really feeling the effects of what food can do for you, then they're addicted. And then it's like, I also like to like keep it real with them. And I'm like, listen, you having a bad food every now and then, you're not going to have that reaction because I believe in balance in life. You're not going to have that reaction where you're going to be depressed again. But if you understand how potentially great you can feel, if you could just put your blinders on and focus on the health of it and getting off medication and not having to fill a prescription, figuring out also what you're really depressed about. So like I also get people to answer questions. So when somebody goes off plan in their check-in, they have to answer 4 questions and they have to really try to dissect why they ate that bad food because there's a huge emotional connection to food. Like what were you thinking before you had it? What'd you learn from it? What could you have done differently? And what will you do differently next time? It's automatically in their email to me. And then I coach them on that. So like if they can get past those things, learning how to disconnect from food, to not look at it like it's so amazing, the glorified bad food, and then they can really truly feel their potential, then, it's that they don't want to have it all day long. They maybe want to have it once every couple weeks, or those that are at goal, they have it like once a week. Right. So if I could just get them past that, then, which most of the time, 90% of the time I do.
Yeah. I teach the same thing. Like, it's really what you're doing when you're out of the gym.
Yeah.
And it's really about your emotional connection to foods and all the triggers in your lifestyle.
Yes.
And if you can't go, I'm going to change my lifestyle because those things aren't making me happy, you're never going to achieve your goals, you're never going to feel happy.
Yeah. And most of the time it's habitual. So this is something that I teach. I'm like, I don't believe in sweet cravings. I personally don't. I believe you're craving something emotional. And I used to do grocery store tours once a month when we first opened up our studio. And I would bring like 20 people around the grocery and I would teach them. And I would say that. So I would tell them, I don't believe that you're craving something sweet. You've been taught. And as an Italian, it's like, oh, you don't feel good? Let me make you something to eat. Right. Or at night, I'm going to have a bowl of cereal or I'm going to eat this. So you've made it a habit that every time you're feeling like crap or you're tired or you're whatever, you're going to eat a bowl of cereal. So now when you're tired, it's like that. What is the scientist, the Pavlov, with the salivation and the bell?
Pavlov's
yeah, so like that's what they've done to themselves.
Yeah.
So now they just have to find something different. So when they're feeling tired, they're going to read a book. They're going to listen to a motivational video. They're going to take their dog for a walk. So they have to create a different habit that is disconnected from this sweet craving that they think they're having.
Got it. Love it. So we had one more body part, or kind of the middle of the body. Let's see what we did for abs or core. Now we're going to put it all together, the mid part. Talk about what you do for your midsection, your core, or whatever you want to call it.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you guys a secret. I don't really train core. I will say that when I hurt my back, which was in December of 2020, I started incorporating some core exercises, but I had abs before I started incorporating them, and it was really just as part of my rehab. But what got me my abs, dead honest, is two things. Constantly flexing, abdominal bracing, and I will even tell you a secret, like literally from when I was a kid. Like I was very rebellious, so when they told me in school I can't wear half shirts, I would wear them anyway, and then I would just flex my abs all day long.
Okay.
That's the dead honest truth. So I'm gonna teach you the plank, because that's basically what I was doing all day long. So I would just constantly flex, and then reverse crunches. Those are the only two exercises that I ever really do, and still even now. I do a little bit of reverse crunches and a little bit of plank right before I do cardio for no more than 7 to 10 minutes. Prone iso abs or the plank. So you want to be like a tabletop, okay? So when you are doing the plank, you want to make sure that your elbows are right underneath your shoulders and that your toes are right underneath your heels. Make it more challenging. You can put your feet together. When you're just starting, you can open up your feet. Modifications, you can go on your knees. But the big thing here is just what I was explaining when we were going over the bridge, is your glutes and your abs are going to work together to protect your lower back. Because when you do the plank, if you are not abdominal bracing, and again, you're not sucking in, you're flexing, you're bearing down. And look, I'm still able to talk to you as I just punched myself in the stomach. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that your elbows, like I said, right here and here. I'm not flexing or doing anything right now, okay? This is a modification. Here, you're going to squeeze and tuck under. So right now I'm starting to shake, okay? So my abs are tight and my glutes. I'm not really flexing them, I'm just keeping them activated. But this is where you will, you're protecting your lower back. As soon as your abs start to get tired, then you're gonna start to do this and then, ow, my back hurts, and then you have to stop, okay? So you wanna tuck your abs under, keep your abs nice and tight. I will also give you another secret. A lot of core exercises are face down, and I like to overtrain, as I mentioned before, with shoulders. I like to overtrain shoulders because a lot of the times doing this exercise, your shoulders will fatigue before your abs do. And then what I'll do is I'll flip over, and I'm just gonna grab onto something. I'll flip over, I'll lay on my back, one vertebrae at a time, lift up. I don't really have anything to hold on to, but lift, and then slowly lower, and go down as low as you can without your back coming off the ground. So again, breathing through my diaphragm, keeping my abs tight. Lift, slowly lower, down, 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 until there's that arch, which I'm actually not gonna let myself have. Lift, lower, 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 and stopping. See, I can go down to there, abs tight, and then come back up. Okay. That was my ab workout for the day, actually.
That was great.
No, I did 7 minutes this morning, and then now another 2.5.
And I saw you wearing an ab trainer.
Yes, so I wear
I guess
waist
you believe
trainers.
in those.
Yeah, I do my cardio in them. I don't do my abs when I'm wearing them.
Okay.
So you don't do them when you're doing abs.
Okay.
And then I do my training in it. I do feel like it protects my back.
Okay.
And then I will, let's just say if I have a photo shoot and I just want to tighten up a little bit, I'll wear it for a couple hours throughout the day.
Okay.
But I have clients that are like nurses that work 12, 16-hour shifts and they wear their waist trainer all the time.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, again, it's working.
It's working.
Nice.
Thank you.
So, is that a sponsor as well?
So, Squeeze Me Skinny was actually my first sponsor because I worked with 2 other waist training companies and I wasn't really a fan. Then I found her, Daniela is the owner, and then I asked her if she had an ambassador program, and then basically like I've had so many people that have come to me mentioning that it's helped when they're working. Like I do have a lot of nurses, people that stand up all day, or people that have a lot of back pain. So like, I mean, I'm wearing mine right now and I'm sitting here and I don't feel any pain because sometimes it forces you to have good posture. So they were my first sponsor, then Blackstone, but Blackstone is more my main sponsor. And then I'm also a sponsored athlete for the X Bands. So I actually have like a bunch in the car, and I made a joke before that I was going to bring in some bands. And then I just recently got one with a posing suit, even though I don't do shows, but they gave me a couple suits and I pose in them.
Got it.
And then a CBD company, Your Natural Health, and then Mini Beast, which is booty shorts to make the ones I was wearing in that. So I have a little bit of everything. I don't really see myself having any more sponsors because I like to be able to give people discounts on things that are going to help them. Anything else, I mean, it's like I don't need any other apparel because I have Mini Beast, and Blackstone Labs is my nutrition, my supplements, my protein powder, all that stuff. And but they're all really good to me, and I use every single one of them. And every one of the companies, I tried out other ones first, so I try to be as genuine as possible.
Right.
I've had nutrition companies reach out to me, and they asked me to promote their product, but I wasn't using it. So I'm like, they're like, we'll pay you. I'm like, I don't care. I don't use it.
Right.
And the bands and stuff, I've never had any one of the X bands break on me. I have a whole bunch at my studio. We use them with our clients. I bought a big bulk order. And I've tried like 5 other CBD companies, and this was the only one that really worked for me. And then the suit company, whatever. Which, not saying whatever to them, they're amazing. But Angel, I think I should remember. I tagged them Angel competition suits. I think that's them.
I think I've heard of them.
So yeah, and I just like being able to offer a discount to people. So for stuff that they're going to use.
And how do people that are watching this get a discount if they use your code or something? Or do you have a different code for each?
No, I made it a point to have the code the same for everything.
Oh, okay.
So clients get a little bit of a bigger discount with Blackstone Labs, but anybody can use my Instagram handle, which is up on the screen, and that's the code. That's the code for Squeeze Me Skinny. And if they go to my Instagram, the profile only lets you put so many. Right. So like Squeeze Me Skinny, Mini Beast, and Blackstone are on there. But then the Angel, I have highlights. So on my highlights is the CBD company, the Angel, and the X Bands. So, but it's all Jenn Aguirre 7877. Okay. If they go to any one of those websites, and usually people ask me questions about what to get for the waist trainer. I have like a little tutorial about how to put it on, and I'll send it to them so they know how to get it on. So anybody can message me and ask me questions about stuff, what to order for Blackstone, and then they use the discount and the code, and they get a discount.
Nice. So the other day at your gym, you talked about you help people by showing them that there's hope. I kind of believe the old saying is hope's not a strategy, but I want to hear what you mean by you creating hope in people.
A lot of the time, I feel like what I do, it's the way that I promote myself is not about me showing off what my physique is or showing off what I do. It's about me showing what I've had or what I have all the issues that I have and then what I'm able to do so that it gives people hope that they can do something more. So like I documented right after I hurt my back because I got like 6 clients with two of them were just back pain, and then the other ones were herniated discs that have been sitting on the couch that needed to lose 100 or 50 pounds. So it's like when they watch me, it's not like they're like, oh, I want to look like Jenn or I want to squat as heavy as Jenn. It's that if Jenn can get through the knee issues, the back pain, the Crohn's, the depression, the bulimia, all the other issues that I've gone through, like my cover picture on my Facebook, it's a whole bunch of pictures of me doing photo shoots. And then in the middle, it says this chick has, and it's a list of like uveitis and bursitis. and it's, so I want somebody that's got any one of those ailments or any one of those issues to look at me and not say I want to look like her, but I want to look like the best version of myself. And she's like my hope, like that I can do that for me.
Right.
I want to help. I used to say I want to take people's pain away, but I don't want to. I want to teach them how to take their own pain away.
Love it.
So
Love it.
that's what I mean by that.
So what is on the horizon for you? Do you have a new product? What's going on? What's next?
Well, I have a podcast and I'm trying to it's just one that I do on Anchor. And I try to put something out like once a week. The most popular one that I have is when I did the video, did a podcast on I Am Alone, But I'm Okay. And it was post when I finally made the announcement that I'm divorced. So I don't know where I'm going with that. I don't know if I really want to do this whole thing. I'll just be on people's podcasts. And then in reference to me, it's like, I have like one more slot for in-person clients. I don't want to open up more hours because I love the amount of time that I have. And something that I have neglected is every year when I first became a trainer 20 years ago, I would do something. I would go to a convention, I would get my CECs, and I would keep myself up to date. So I think these past like 6 or so years, like ever since we adopted Amir, and then just everything, maybe more so maybe over the past 2-3 years with the moving and when I stopped competing and then the 30-day challenge, it has been like I've neglected a little bit of me. So like I think this is a perfect chance with my situation that I'm going to do some research on trying to find, let's say, like a course or a weekend thing where I can learn, take a new nutrition course. And then post my divorce, I made a little bucket list of fun things that I want to do that have nothing to do with my business.
Nice.
So like I want to go bungee jumping, and I went roller skating by myself the other day. I went to go see Jabberwockies by myself. And then my son wanted to go, so I took him 2 Fridays ago. So I don't have another project right now when it comes to business because I think I'm working a lot of hours. And again, I just recently, for the first time in probably 11 years, I took on those 2 girls, the one-on-ones that are in Greece, and they come back at the end of this month. So I'm working more hours and adding on the extra clients. Like I train clients at night at like 6:40, but I added on 3 more people that start at 6 o'clock. So like I've added on 3 more hours to my day. So technically, when you own a business, you're supposed to work smarter, not harder, so less hours, but I'm working more. So that's the reason why I kind of just want to, my new projects is just get smarter up here and have fun and spend time with my kids on the days that I get them and spend time with me. And that's it.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for your time. You were a pleasure, an unexpected pleasure. I really learned some stuff from you. I'm inspired by you.
Oh, thank you.
And I can see why people gravitate towards you.
Thank you.
Well, people, you got to watch this episode and get inspired. She's not my super ex-girlfriend, but she's definitely a superhero. And until next time, Fit Fam, I'm out.